afternoon, everybody. I am April. 8 years ago, I got the biggest and best present ever of my life. After reading me books every night since I was about 2, my mom opened a children's bookstore. I still remember the day I stepped into the warm, lovely place. Sunshine glowed on the bookshelves, and I smelled the scent of books. And I still remember the happy moment my mom held me in her arms and read me a book. In an old house in Paris that was covered with vines lived 12 little girls in 2 straight lines. Time passed, and I grew from a little kid who was often mistaken for a boy to a big girl standing in front of you on this stage. However, the love of reading has been kept unchanged, except that I don't suck my fingers anymore while I'm reading. Having the freedom to read and the freedom to choose is one of the best gifts my mom ever gave me. Although running a bookstore is not always a good choice for making money, Mom never regretted quitting her high-salary job and devoting herself to the small bookstore. She is very proud of her work that brings a passion for reading to me and other children. Surrounded by books, I am enthusiastic about reading. I bring a book with me wherever I go. I read in restaurants while I'm waiting for a meal. I read in the metro on my way to school. I read every night before I go to sleep. To read is to voyage through time, to visit places you would never otherwise know, to experience a world of imagination, adventure, and discovery. Take Alice in Wonderland as an example. When I read that book, I fell with Alice into a wonderland. It's so weird, so visual. There, rabbits can talk, playing cards can walk, and cats can vanish at will. After I read that book, my mind kept wanting to return to Wonderland and experience all those nonsense again. So I drew this picture. I drew the Cheshire Cat, the caterpillar on the giant mushroom, and the girl. I don't know if the girl's Alice or myself. I was too young when I drew that picture. But I really wish that I could have lived inside that book. So you can see, in the book, bored Alice followed a rabbit and tumbled down into Wonderland, whereas in the real world, a book can always lead you to escape the boredom of everyday life and enter a magic world. For example, we can take the magic school bus to explore the human body, or we can escape into nature by reading Faber's Book of Insects. We can even travel back to ancient Greece or Rome in the series of horrible history. With a book, we can go anywhere and be anything. Reading is also a good way for us to connect with others. It's amazing how when you're reading a book on the train, a stranger next to you says, "Hey, I love that book too." This is a true story between me and Yo-Yo. We then immediately started a discussion about characters in that book. Yo-Yo's mom and my mom also found that they had a lot in common. Last year, our families took a trip to Singapore together. This was our first day in Singapore. We went to a big bookstore and spent half a day there. This is not the only story. When I share fun Did You Know book facts with my friends, or help other readers my age find a book that's just right for them, we build up relationships and get to know each other better. Also, I believe that when parents read to their children, it brings back good memories from their own childhood. This is a strong relationship that can get rid of gaps in between generations. Another amazing thing about reading is, when you are reading, in a way, you're engaging in a conversation with the author. One of the authors I admire very much is Bill Bryson, who is humorous and witty. When reading his great book, A Short Story of Nearly Everything, I feel like I'm accompanying the author as he travels through space and time, from the Big Bang to the rise of civilization. His deep curiosity of the world we live in and encyclopedic knowledge of his topics impressed and touched me. Another beloved author is Roald Dahl, whose hilarious, breathtaking books are so attractive that I don't even want the story to end. I have read all of his books for children. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, The Witches, BFG, and many others. When asked in an interview about how do you get your story ideas, the author answered, "It always starts with a little seed of idea, a little germ. Every time I get a great idea, I will pull out a notebook and write it down, or else it would disappear like a dream." These tips helped me a lot when I first started writing. I used my idea notebook to write down my seeds of ideas. And in the story The Minpins, Roald Dahl told us, "Watch with glittering eyes the whole world around you, because the greatest secrets are always hidden in the most unlikely places." I was inspired when I read this. I'm taken as advice not only from a great author, but also from a wise man who had a keen insight into our world. Just like Roald Dahl's character, the BFG, Big Friendly Giant, whose job was to collect and blow pleasant dreams to small children, Roald Dahl, Bill Bryson, Sheldon Alan Silverstein, Dr. Seuss, and other writers did blow big dreams to me and every other reader. I dreamed that one day I can make magic of my own as an author for myself, my friends, my kids, and other children. Here, I want to share a poem I wrote on the kite I made in art class. Soaring above us like a bird is a big, amazing kite. The wind is howling, making it dance. What a beautiful sight. Yes, what a beautiful sight. But I know making this dream come true will be a very long and slow process. I will keep on reading and writing every day, and above all, keep watching with glittering eyes the whole world around me, just like Roald Dahl. And there's one thing I know for sure. Reading will be a lifelong love for me. I read because living one life is just not enough. Today I stand here to share my reading stories with you because I believe that reading can light up the whole world. So, why not surround yourself with books, sit down quietly, and enjoy the words, the pictures, and how they fit together so beautifully. At the end of my speech, I would like to recite one of my favorite poems. No one believes the whole book could ever come from something as simple as butterflies that don't even live that long. But on paper, things can live forever. On paper, a butterfly never dies. Thank you.
谢谢。好。